Okay, so this video is all about hair. You should recognise this doll from the tutorial. So if I can pull her up close enough to see, when you separate her hair, you barely see her head. And you see how it's completely stylable, because I was about to say, well, hopefully you already made the wig, but no, I hope you haven't already made the wig. Watch this video first before you make the wig. The wig is made from a single yarn that's knotted and crocheted in place into a cap. And what I wanted to show you with this is you can just make the hair all the same length and cut it afterwards, but like in the case of this one, that's going to be an awful lot of wastage of wool. So here you've got super long hairs at the front, but if we turn her around, her hairs are super short. So while I was making this one, I think you can probably see from the tutorial photographs, I made, started in the centre. Oh look, I've still got the my yarn that I put down to mark my round, the beginning of each round. So starting in the centre, I started with quite short, oh here we go, there's the very centre itself. Started with quite medium length yarns, as you'll probably recognise that as the length of my finger as I crocheted, but very quickly I started to do the yarns on this side longer. So as I went round in the circle, the yarns on this side were the longest. At the sides they had a medium length to them, and at the back I kept them short all the way. So when I chopped this, I think her hair was about to here when I chopped it, because they were all the strands were about that long. So definitely, if you want a shaped hairdo, that's something to bear in mind. Just think about what you want it to look like when it's finished, and if in doubt, make it longer than you need so you can trim it. The kind of hair I've been making on the tutorial with the blue yarn would give us a mop-ish hair, just a really nice sort of short hairdo, boy's hairdo, or a girl with short hair. There's another one, if you've been on the website you might recognise this doll. So she's got super long hair, and I wrapped it round, let me see, was it this book? I always have it by my side when I'm sewing. Oh no, I think she was a bit longer than this one actually. I must have had a bigger book, I must have been reading a paperback or something at the time. Yeah, so her whole hair is all the same length, which means when she sits up with her back to you, you see the front bits are ever so slightly shorter than the back bits. But that yarn comes right down to her bum, so it's super long. Really useful for doing all sorts of fancy ponytails. My kids are really into anime, so they like to have a doll that can do kind of pom-pom meatball type hair. Another type of hair you could do, these are just cornrow. So I used the mohair and plaited it, and then just sewed each plait on individually. So I could have done, I was kind of tempted to do quite funky patterns on this little chap who's here in his pyjamas. But I'm going to use him as my hair model, though he has got a smaller head than the dolls you guys will be making. He's like the dolls I used to make, but I changed the pattern. He has different feet from the ones you'll be making. So here's a wig turned inside out. This is the beginning, so we start in the middle and sew out the way. This one was made from two different yarns. One, this bright pink one, actually changes colour throughout. It's sometimes blue, sometimes pink, sometimes orange and brown also. And it was also made with the same hair that the doll the first doll I've just showed you, the doll that was in the sewing kit. So it's got mixed yarns. And to do mixed yarn, you would just do it in exactly the same way, but double your yarn over. Lovely and shaggy. So here's this doll with the new hair on. You can see it's huge and it's bushy. It might be slightly too much for this poor doll's head, but this wig has been made so that a fringe can be cut. So there's this definite part here, and in fact the hair that I used for the doll in the tutorial, I only really added it on the outer rows so that it would stand up more with the fringe. So it gives the fringe a kind of completely different shade, so that would be cut. Ooh, and there's some secret blue underneath there, so let's try and... I do like messing with hair. Right then, let me see with a fringe, little doll. So it's with a fringe and it's quite bouffant in the back. So then we've got this one. I took this one off a doll recently, so you might recognise the hair. It's just super fun. Short, so not even as long as a finger. And it's made from mohair boucle, or boucle. It's just a curly mohair. I really can't stress enough, if it's your first time crocheting, first time with loopy stitch, just use a straight yarn. I'll sit you there for a moment, little fella. Like this one, used for the blue hair in the tutorial, is just a DK, I think, and the hair on this doll is chunky, so I would, yeah, definitely stick to just straight yarn. It's so much easier to work with for when you're starting, to see where your stitches are, see what you're doing. But should you use the mohair or the boucle, it just gives a lovely, lovely effect. And it's just, yeah, it's just so hairy, it's so hair-like. It's probably a good opportunity actually to go through the different yarns that you could use. So seeing as we've got this one out, so this is the mohair boucle or boucle. It's a loopy, you see every few stitches it has a loop in it. This one was actually designed specially for doll's hair, and it's lovely. You can keep it long and have a long curly hair, you can have it short. It's not as frizzy. This one is a complete one-off. I found in a beautiful wool shop in Wales, and I very seldom go back there, and I believe it was end of line, but I bought a massive load of it. But I've never found anything just so perfectly fluffy before, with a curl in it. And this one's a regular mohair. It's again specialised especially for doll making, so it's got extra long hairs, and it's possible, if you were to knit a whole head of it, it's possible then to take a wire brush and brush it all out, and you get these strands which then you can sort of twist into little tiny pigtails. Nice for doing a baby doll. Dolls with quite small heads, this would work really nicely as big fuzzy long hair. I just wanted to show you the inside of this wig, and show you how I recommend it if you've done this stitch before, because it's quite hard to pick out where the stitches are that you need to work into. You can kind of see this line, 3 lines here, but then the following lines are much harder to pick out around the edges of where to sew in, because you do kind of have to know what you're at and what you're doing and feel comfortable and confident with it in order to not get completely frustrated picking up the stitches once it's gone all fuzzy. Oh, lovely hair. So the next one is a hybrid. It's the same chunky wool on the second doll, but it's also this great flat stuff. Given by my in-laws, who live near to the fabulous wool shop in Wales. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. I've got lots of it in lots of different colours, and I've been experimenting with intermixing it with wool. I can't imagine actually what it would be like to knit a jumper or something from this. It's extraordinary stuff. So we've got this hybrid. Not quite plopped it on your head quite right, have I? Ooh, doesn't quite look right on you somehow. I'm just not a beehive kind of guy. I realise I heard myself saying, you know, short hair, great for a boy or a girl with short hair. So I'd equally like to say long hair, great for a boy with long hair or a girl with long hair. Yep, this style, it looks lovely from behind. It's all rainbow cut. So when when the ends are cut, I'm not going to cut it till I find a doll that it suits. Yeah, it would make. I was just thinking, ooh, it would make really nice bunches. Let's see what I can do. I've not clicked it on well enough, but I'm thinking pom-poms, maybe. Let's go on to the last one I'm going to show you now, which is just using the crazy yarn by itself. So the inside of that wig, it's, again, it was a mix, so I just made each stitch with the 2 bits of yarn. In fact, that's the end, you can still see, yeah, so I made each stitch just using the 2 bits of yarn together as if it was one. And that's what it's like on the inside, so you can really clearly see where the stitches are to stitch into. It was really super simple, and it gives a really nice varied hair. And this other yarn looks completely different on the inside. It's not so clear to see where the stitches are, though I'm pretty sure it was. I think it was really easy to work with. It's nice and stretchy. And the yarn, I think I may have used 2 different ones, the redder one in the middle and the more green to the outside, or it may just have been that it was the type of yarn that just changed colour massively. It makes these beautiful, and I made them super long, because you can't have rainbow hair and have it short. Oh, mind you, actually, short rainbow hair. Now I'm going to have to make some rainbow hair, aren't I? Let's see if it's still fabulous. Of course it'd be fabulous, it's rainbow. Right, I'll pop this one on my model, and you can have a look-see. Now, how's about that for glorious? Absolutely beautiful hair. I really like the way it hangs. It's not too puffy at the top. This doll doesn't seem to like puffy too much. And it is so super, super long. It's as long as the doll. It's got a really nice shape and a fling. So there you go. There are so many different ways you can make the hair look. It's just down to what yarn you use and what length and what style you make it. But it's all the same technique. So if you're wanting to make hair as fabulous as this, I'm guessing you're watching this video because you've just bought my cloth doll hair making tutorial. If you haven't and you want to buy this hair, then just click onto popcornsnow.co.uk or Etsy, my popcorn snow shop, and you can buy the doll hair tutorial. Grab yourself a cup of tea, some yarn and a crochet hook, and it's just a one-click digital download PDF file and a video, and we can get started straight away with gorgeous fabulousness. And of course this hair can be put on any cloth doll, and I'm just picturing it on teddies and ponies. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video.